So on my other video the other day, I kind of touched on race and how we're all different and we all kind of have little different perks embedded into our DNA over thousands of years of evolution, and it does mean something. It's not just a social construct. And I wanted to go a little bit deeper specifically on the Europeans, my European, I'm Northwest, that little demographic from, Ireland to northern France to all the way through the middle of Germany and then up to Scandinavia is my bloodline. And I just wanted to say, everywhere that we are now, we are slowly getting ethnically replaced. And I can understand wanting to, if the Native Americans wanted to, make America more ethnic, or if the Native Aboriginals wanted to do the same for Australia, or the Maoris wanted to do the same for New Zealand, I would understand. But for it to happen everywhere where the Europeans of my bloodline set up colonies and set up beautiful civilizations, and for it not only to happen there, but to also happen, herein lies the problem with me personally, for it to happen to Europe is just not ideal, because it's only going to end in one thing, and that is the eventual ethnic replacement and destruction of my race. And while I'm existing on Earth, I do have love for my own race, for my own people, for our ideas, for all that we've contributed to society. And yes, we've had evil within our race, but so has every single other race. We were just the ones more capable of committing atrocities on a larger scale. It doesn't mean that all of us were evil throughout history. It just means that evil seeks power, and if power is more centralized and organized as it was with our societies, it's easier to commit on scale. That's just what happened. It's unfortunate. I don't agree with it, but it doesn't mean that all of us should suffer karmically and our race should be wiped off the face of the earth through mass immigration and low native birth rates. Instead of incentivizing native birth rates for the Europeans, they're just putting on a band-aid and saying, oh, we'll just take in as many immigrants as we can, not caring about the social cohesion that gets ruined, and not caring about the eventual minority status that will become of my race. And then given enough time, we're just going to have nowhere on earth to be. So it's just not something that I can stand for. It's not something that I can agree with. I think all people should have a homeland, as I've said before. So I think we need to recognize that's the next thing for humanity. We're either going one or two ways. It's either going to be like globalist slop, where the people who are ruling over us now will continue to rule over us, but they'll just dilute every single country. It's not going to stop with the Europeans, man. Europeans are the start. Once we get knocked out of the way, it's going to be a lot easier to slowly do it to everybody else. They're already starting to try and do it to Japan, and they're going to try and do it to China also, and then you bet you they're going to do it to the Middle East too, and then it's just going to be everywhere. So it's like we have a decision to make as humanity. Do we want to become, do we want to allow this centralized force to rule over us globally, or do we want to have sovereignty over our own little races around the world and create our own cultures and live within our own cultures and be mostly homogenous and, still be kind and fair and virtuous to one another, but, have the ability to be amongst our own people. I'm not saying I never advocate for 100% homogeneity. I say, most places around the world should be 90 to 95%, I think that, so yeah, we have a decision. It's like, do we want globalism where a centralized force rules over all of us, or do we want to return to nationalism where we all have control over our own states and our own races, and we decide what's best for our people, not somebody in some control room far away deciding that this is what happens to these people, this is what happens to these people, as if they have the monopoly on what's best for everybody. So yeah, just thought I'd speak. Whenever I speak about things like this, I'm not advocating it for only for my people, but for all people. I think that's what we all deserve, to be honest. This globalism, it's risky. It's very risky because there's no going back. Once races start to get mixed and lost off of the face of the earth, there's no going back without very, very advanced genetics. So we have a decision to make as humans. Do we want to move towards globalism, or do we want to move towards nationalism?